only gonna see me.
Bounty hunting in Star Citizen has changed so much recently, despite the fact that the devs haven't actually updated the job for years. You can't rely on just destroying your target anymore, which leads to some of the most interesting and, in my opinion, fun encounters you can possibly have in this game. Take this mission for example. I'm hunting this constellation down near Security Post Korea. The station has started to fire on the target ship as well as me, disabling it and leaving it floating in space. Now, I could just sit here and destroy it with my Hornet, but where's the fun in that? So I did what I do best, and I got out on foot. I floated over to the top hatch of the ship, but unfortunately it was locked. Luckily though, I had my special lockpicking tool at hand.
You wanna play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
Space police, get down on the ground. I took both of the occupants out because, in my eyes, harbouring a fugitive should also be a crime in Stanton. The contract completed, I got paid, and I added another successful bounty to the ever-growing list. With the ship already disabled, I made my way back to the Hornet, and it was on to the next target. This breach and capture was just one cool moment I've had in the many years I've been doing this because, in my opinion, bounty hunting is the most fun you can have in Star Citizen, and it's only going to get better.
Only gonna see me. Boy, I'm breaking you down, ain't no saving you now. No, you can't stop me now. Boy, I'm breaking you up.
So, the reason I love bounty hunting in Star Citizen is because you never really know what you're going to find. It's so unpredictable, and you always find yourself in different situations. Take this guy for example. Now, I don't really like sneaking into people's hangars and taking them out in the hangar. I feel like it's a bit cheap, and I'd much rather follow people and see what they're up to and see what they're doing, and if they have a large ship, I like to try and stow away on it. Like, this guy just seemed completely oblivious to me. I wasn't trying to be sneaky or incognito. He just didn't seem to notice me at all, and if he did, he just didn't seem to care. So I just kind of followed him over to his elevator of his Starlancer Max and just filed in behind him and stood on the elevator. I honestly don't know how he hasn't seen me or noticed me. Maybe it's just too desyncy for him to notice me properly. But he didn't turn around this whole time to look behind him or anything, so I just kind of snuck on board the ship really. And my plan was just to wait and see what he does, see where he goes, because the Starlancer is going to take a little bit to take out. It's not just going to blow up instantly if someone decides to engage him. So I thought, well, you know, I'll just see what he does. Because it would be really easy to just take him out right now in the hangar, but that's no fun, is it? So anyway, he left Grim without much incident, and I thought, well, I'd better sit down in one of the seats so that I don't get ejected out of the ship when he tries to quantum like I have done in the past. And just wait and see what he does and see where he goes. My gut feeling was he was going to run to SPK, because all criminals have to run to SPK if they want to clear the crime stat. But he just waited outside Grim for a bit and no one engaged him. But how cool is this, stowing away on someone's ship? Anyway, he eventually quantumed, and thankfully I didn't get thrown out of the ship. But we did indeed turn up to Selin. And I thought, oh great, we're going to go for Security Post Korea. I can cause some havoc now. So I got out my seat ready for what may come next. But we weren't actually going towards Security Post Korea. We were going towards one of the security bunkers for some reason. I don't know why, maybe he was going to make a last stand there. But I thought, ha, now's my chance. I'll go mess around with the engineering console. So I made my way down to the engine room. Found the console nestled up against one of the engines and had a bit of a look. And I was going to have a bit of a mess around with it and see what I could do, but just as I'm messing around with it, he actually started to get engaged by the security turrets at the security post. So I thought, right, okay, well, I'll just turn off all power. So I just turned off all his power and thought I'd run back to the cockpit. Obviously, when you're bounty hunting, it means that if you do this, the target now knows that you're on the ship, or something's going on at least, so they're going to be a bit more vigilant than they would normally be if you just decided to engage them. But I thought it'd be funny, you know? Yeah, for that brief moment, he'll have absolutely no idea why his ship isn't working at all. Unaware of the fact that Lofty the bounty hunter is stowed away right in front of his eyes. Like, I didn't do anything specifically sneaky here. But, you know, a job's a job. Alright mate, space police. Going to jail. So there we go. Stow away to bounty takedown. So it's like, it's such an incredible thing you can do in this game. You know, that you can just stow away on someone's ship and do this. But yeah, with the contract complete, obviously there's only really one thing left to do, is blow up the ship. But I forgot that I've turned all the power off, so I had to go back down to the engine room and turn the power back on again, because the self-destruct won't work if the power's turned off. So back to the cockpit and turn the self-destruct on. You actually get 45 seconds for a Starlancer, which is a fair amount of time. So managed to make it to the elevator, which thankfully actually let me out and wasn't locked itself. Otherwise I think I would have been a bit screwed here getting out. But the ship of course was upside down on the ground, but the game does a fairly good job at orientating you in gravity so I don't fall and break my neck. Yeah, there we go. Starlancer max down. But yeah, how cool is it that you can just infiltrate, stow away on a ship and end up in a situation like this? Yeah, fair enough, I have to hitchhike back to the Grim Hex, but still. Next I was over at an Onyx facility, and now this guy was obviously a new player in his Mustang. He didn't know that as a criminal you can't get into the Onyx facilities if you have a CS3. I mean, it's not my problem that he's a new player. Someone else would have come and taken him out anyway, so I just took him down. But then the little guy, he decides to eject out of his Mustang. So at least he knows how to eject. But I think the fall must have done him in. He was escaped prisoner as well, look. The fall did him in and the contract completed, so. And next he was on to security post career, and now I spend a lot of time here either wiping my own crime stat or coming up to wipe other criminals and send them back to prison. And this time I was here with this Polaris that had a target on the front of it, and I'm just trying to shadow it, coming behind it. Its PDCs did notice me and it did start firing. No, I didn't fire on this Polaris at all, but its PDCs started firing on me. I don't know if they targeted me myself, but the ship gets destroyed, so I eject straight into the geometry of the security post. But thankfully I was able to use my multi-tool and the tractor beam to get myself dislodged. And then all I needed to do was float up to the platform. They've kind of nosedived this Polaris into the front of the security post. So my best course of action was just to EVA around to one of the doors at the side, which thankfully it wasn't locked. Don't need to waste a load of ammo, and the inside door wasn't locked either, so I can just jump in through here. Guys are still in the ship. Make it inside. The ship is taking an absolute pounding here by the turrets at SPK. And I get inside the ship, ready to do my thing, and then I suddenly realise the target's actually getting out of the ship. That's the whole reason they came here, was to go inside the security post. So I go back out of the ship again, into 0G, and float my way over to the lift. And there's two of them. I take the first guy down. Don't quite manage to get the actual target down. And then before I can get a shot off on him, he actually goes back up inside the Polaris. And I'm like, oh no, I've got to get back up in there now. So I quickly jump off the side of the platform and float back up to the door, making my way inside. But then just as I make my way inside, the contract fails. Now, like normally if you're in combat, it doesn't let you just log out like this. You have to wait like 5 minutes to log out because you're in combat. You've been hit by someone, and I hit both of them. But this guy's just seemingly able to just get out of it and combat log somehow. So I failed the contract, which GG I guess, but you know, at least there's one thing I can do, right? I'm just kind of stood here wondering if he's going to log back in or something, if someone's just going to appear behind me and log back in. But nevertheless, I set the self-destruct off and then just kind of make a break for it, really. Get myself out of the airlock before the station destroys the ship itself. But yeah, it kind of sucks that guy was able to just log out despite the fact that he was injured and in combat. But nevertheless, I destroyed the Wicklow Polaris. I hope they obtained it through legitimate means, though. And again, we're back at Security Post Korea for the third time in this video, just approaching it in the Hornet. And the target's actually parked himself just below where the defences can shoot him. And he's in this wolf. And I'm like, alright, he must be just getting out of the ship. And I look over, and he's just kind of stood on top of the cockpit. I'm like, right, okay, I've never seen this before. But I just can't take him down. It's like the desync is so bad in the game at the moment sometimes that players' positions just don't update. And there wasn't a server error or anything, like everything else was working fine, there was ships flying around and stuff, so I really don't know what happened. But this guy is just aura farming on the top of his wolf at Security Post Korea. So yeah, we picked up some more targets. There was more inside the security post, taking on the security services, massacring absolutely everyone they could see. And I'm just trying to sneak my way in. The guy's over the other side of the security post. I'm just going to make my way around there. And I'm thinking, oh, he's running towards me. I'm just going to dip into this little tunnel here and be sneaky. But then he also does the same thing. So I had to take him down. Luckily, didn't manage to get the kill on me. And heal up. And finish him off. But sometimes, when there's one, there's two. And just as I'm trying to escape, this guy there must have spotted me as I'm doubling back and running the other way. Because as I'm running to the exit, he chases me down. And I take him down. But he apparently wasn't actually a criminal. So, maybe he just cleared his crime stat, I don't know. But he was after me, so I had to take him down. Just as I'm waiting for the door, someone else turns up and shoots me. So I go prone on the floor. Take them out. But then just as I take them out, there's a fourth guy. And the game glitches and doesn't let me reload, and I die. So GG's those guys, I guess.
Snake, what's your status? Snake! Snake!
But anyway, you know, I'm never put off too much by dying, especially when I got the contract there, so GG. And I'm back again hunting another Idris. And I've just kind of floated in on my little Mirai Pulse space bike into the Idris's hangar, and now I'm just on top of the Idris. Cool, I guess. The target's in the turret. And I'm trying to jump down onto the engine here so I can breach into the airlock door, and I beef the jump. And fall onto the support strut of the engine. Now with absolutely no way to get into the ship whatsoever. There's no way I can jump up here at all. It's just too high. So there's nothing really much I can do. And the guy's obviously just repairing and rearming and then going straight back out again. And I've just got to sit here like a fool. Nothing to be done about it. But of course he takes off again and leaves me in the dust, so... But yeah, it's still pretty cool. You can just jump into someone's hangar like this. And I was at ArtCorp Mining Area 141, sort of hassling another Wicklow Polaris. And I just thought I'd try and land the Razor on top here when kind of clipped through the hangar door and out again. Bit crazy. But anyway, I managed to finally land on top of the Polaris. I don't really know what I was going to do. I was kind of hoping that they were going to get some ground vehicles and open the hangar doors and the cargo doors so that I could sneak inside. But we waited here for quite some time. And I just had to take in the sights while I waited for something to happen, really. Which eventually it did. This raft got quite interested in what I was doing. But then the Polaris decided to take off at a bit of an angle. Which clipped me and the Hornet through the hangar doors. And then proceeded to completely obliterate the Hornet. Which is cool, I guess. I mean, what's going on with the geometry on these things? Like, how is this possible? So, you know, I did what any self-respecting bounty hunter would do, and I made my way to the engineering console while they were in the middle of a fight and just turned everything off. And then decided to try and make my way to the bridge, but someone had just respawned in the medical bay, so I had to take them down. Thankfully, again, the desync seemed pretty bad and I was able to kill them before they killed me. It's a coin toss these days whether you'll get taken down or not, honestly. But yeah, then I went and hid for a little while to see how they would deal with the engineering problem, and it seemed like someone went to get the ship back online. The target was running around doing something. I don't know what. But I had to break my way out of the room I was hidden in order to get back down to engineering again. Only to find Chief Engineer at work. Took him out again. Tried to get back on the console, but I think the console was a bit glitched out since I took the guy using it down, and it wouldn't let me just get on it in the first place. But then it eventually sorted itself out, and I was able to just turn everything off again, which I can only imagine was absolutely so frustrating for these guys in the middle of a fight. But, you know, that's what they designed these systems for, right? Anyway, most of the doors were now locked. I don't know whether my meddling had locked the doors or not. I'm a complete noob when it comes to engineering, but I thought, oh, there's a way down to the other level I can hide in. I'll just jump down this elevator here. But then, of course, I get thrown out of the ship, which I suppose is only a fitting end, isn't it? Because, you know, I glitched into the ship, unassumingly, and now here I am glitching out of the ship again, so... Anyway, that was my week of bounty hunting in Star Citizen, and why I think bounty hunting is the most fun game loop in the game right now, despite all its bugs and flaws. But yeah, that's the video. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe and comment, and if you're feeling generous, you can donate to the Ko-fi page. The link is in the description. As always, more to come, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much, guys. Bye-bye.